So I wanted to share with you some decks that I use in my self-care practices. These are decks that I find quite uplifting. They're easy to use and they give a really great message. So the first deck I want to look at today is your Finding Inner Peace Inspiration cards. Become the best version of yourself. The more you feed your mind with positive thoughts and the more you treat your soul and body well, the more you'll find yourself coming back to your true self. This deck includes 36 cards, a booklet and a wooden stand, and it is published by Rockpool Publishing. And it is a deck that I really enjoy. It's not my usual style of deck. When we open up the box, you can see here it says you can always look ahead and take control of your life. So it's a beautiful message. So as you can see, it comes with the stand, which is really great for your one card reads, and it has this little booklet in here that tells you basically small information about each card. And each card has a number, and they're in the booklet in the number order. So this is a lovely deck. It is one that I use for my self-care practices, and it's really great, I find, when I'm doing a single card read. So if I'm using it for a single card read, I will often shuffle them and I will pull out a card. This one says it's time to heal and evolve. I'm taking care of myself and my inner child and filling my mind with light-filled thoughts. I will fully heal and evolve. So I really like the message that it gives. They're really upbeat, they're really friendly and really positive. So when you're in a funk with your self-care and the way you're feeling about yourself, these cards are really great. They help to pick you up and give you a way forward. So when I pull them, I would put them into the little holder that I have here, and then I would usually place it on my altar so that I could be reminded of the message as I was going about my day. So other ways I like to use these cards is if I'm doing a 2-card pull, I would again shuffle them and pull out 2 cards. Here we have having sympathy and acceptance. I protect Mother Earth and have sympathy and acceptance for all living creatures. And this one is my lifetime dreams. I don't have to dream my life as I have the power to manifest my lifetime dreams. So if I was to get these 2 cards in a 2-card pull, the message that I would be getting is that I need to be accepting and have sympathy for every living thing and every living creature, that I can go about and achieve my lifetime dreams. But in doing that, I've got to make sure that I don't step on other people's toes and I don't do things that actually cause disharmony in the world around me. So it's about being mindful of how I'm going to achieve my goals, but knowing that I do have the power to manifest them. So I love the way that they fall. Another way I may pick the cards is I may shuffle them. And again, I could pull out 2 cards. So we could have this one, and I just randomly pull them from anywhere. Normally I would just move the cards about till it felt like the right ones to pick. And again, if we had a 2-card reading, we have here being gentle with myself. I'm gentle with myself and make happiness in my life a priority, believing in new beginnings. I am the director of my life and understand the healing power of new beginnings. So these 2 cards here tell me that being gentle with myself, I'm gentle with myself and make happiness in my life a priority. Believing in new beginnings, I am the director of my life and understand the healthy power of new beginnings. So this tells me that I'm coming into a phase of my day that will see newness coming about, things that I hadn't expected, things that are going to prop up and be the beginning of something potentially even bigger. And I need to be gentle with myself. I need to be able to be flexible. I need to be able to accept the change that's coming. And if I don't have the ability to do that, or I find myself getting caught up in it all, I just need to be reminded to be gentle with myself, that I have the power to be able to make myself happy and make happiness a priority in my day, no matter what's happening and what's starting to evolve. So one more time, so you get an idea of how these cards work for me. As I say, I read the messages and I would look at what's happening in my day or what I am anticipating and be able to work it for that. And I encourage you to do the same. There's no right or wrong way to read oracle cards. That's the beauty of them. So being able to get the message that comes to you personally is the right one. You can always ask if somebody else, if you wish to, has a different interpretation, but I truly believe that the interpretation that you have for your own reading is the one that you should have. I have choices. I don't have to be stuck in something that no longer fits. I have choices always. Appreciating myself. I completely know my own worth and honor and love my wonderful soul. So this is telling me that when we come across things during our day, if we've done this as a daily card reading, or if we pulled it for a week, when we come across the things during the time period that we pulled the cards for, that we'll come across things that make us look at what's happening and decide which way to go. So we need to be reminded that if we find ourselves in a situation where we feel that we have no choice, that we have to do what is expected of us or what people might think is the right thing to do, that we actually do have a choice and that we always have a choice. And I think that's really, really important. Appreciating myself and knowing my own worth is being able to not only recognize those choices, but actually make the choice that's in alignment with yourself, in alignment with your values and your own beliefs, and being able to do that in a loving and nurturing way. And I love the way that these two pair together. So the other way I might use these cards is I might do a 3-card spread. Now, usually, you know, a 3-card spread could be past, present, and future. It might be what's the shadow side of a situation, what you're standing on, and what's the brighter side of a situation. Personally, if I'm doing a quick reading with these cards, I just read the cards as they are to get the 3-card message as to what's there for my day or my week. So here we have Don't Look Back. I may be feeling nostalgic about several things in my past, but I know I have the power to move forward. We have Embracing My Beautiful Soul. Being truly myself is the biggest gift I can offer myself and others. I embrace my beautiful soul and show up in the world. I'm worthy. I deserve more than just a comfortable and easy life. I'm worthy of so much more. So if I was pulling these cards for myself for a 3-card reading for the day, I would be saying, you know, I need to recognize who I am and know that I am worthy. I am definitely a beautiful soul, and I don't need to look back. I don't need to have any regrets. I just need to move forward. And as I do that, I will be able to embrace and show up in the world in the way that I'm supposed to be. Where if I was to look back and have regrets or second guess myself, then I'm not really showing up and being authentic to who I am. So I need to actually move forward from the choices that I've made, and I need to step away from them. They're in the past, and I need to embrace who I am today and know that in doing that I am definitely worthy of what's waiting for me. And one last 3-card spread, just so you get an idea of how these cards might work for you. And obviously the way they turn up and they show up for you would be completely different. I might put these back in so that we could potentially get a card again and it may read different within a 3-card spread, so you can see how they all work. So again, another way to do a card reading is to split the cards into 3 and use your non-dominant hand to put them back together. So we have again 1, 2, 3 cards, and we have I am worthy again for us. Having a healthy lifestyle. I'm conscious of the force of nutritious food and know that a healthy lifestyle is not just a trend, but it's a fundamental for a happy life. Visualizing my wildest dreams. I know the power of my thoughts, and visualizing them will lead me to live the life of my wildest dreams. And I am worthy. I deserve more than just a comfortable and easy life. I'm worthy of so much more. If I was to get these cards for my day, it would tell me that I am worthy and that I need to be able to have confidence in the way that I carry myself and the things that I do. Visualizing my wildest dreams tells me it's definitely a powerful thing and that I am able to visualize it, but I actually need to take action as well. And I need to make conscious choices in the types of food that I eat and the way that I'm going to live my life. So it tells me to not give up on my wildest dreams and to keep visualizing where I want to be and what I wish to achieve, but making sure that I'm taking action in the choices that I'm making as I do that, and that ultimately I am worthy of making those choices, and it is up to me to do that. So there you go. That's the Finding Inner Peace inspiration cards. As I said, they're inspiration cards. They're not oracle cards or tarot cards, but I read them in exactly the same way I would read any of them, and I really love them. So the next cards I wanted to talk about are the Self-Care Wisdom cards by Cheryl Richardson. The artwork is by Joe Podmore. They're a 52-card deck. Now these are cards that I love using for my self-care, and I find them really great reminders on how I can look after myself and my mental health. They are double-sided, so they have writing on one side and images on the other, as you can see, and they're really lovely messages. I find the messages are quite timely. They get you thinking. They're definitely got a level of depth to them, and they also often provide a different perspective that we do know. I think we do know, but we don't necessarily wish to pick up upon, especially when we're struggling with how to look after ourselves and making ourselves a priority. So I really do love what these cards bring to the table. So because they are double-sided, I tend to not look while I'm shuffling them to be able to pull a card. That way I'm not impacted by the image. I choose the card by the energy and how it feels. So we'll just pull a single card to give you an idea of the messages that they give. And this one says, light up your life by honoring your deepest desires. And here it has passion. So if I got this as my daily card, I'd be looking at my day and looking at how I can add passion into what I'm doing, how I can do things I'm passionate about, and making sure that I do allow them to be able to be in my day and light it up. So again, if you were doing a single card pull, I would pull a card. This one says, true security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Make deposits in all of these accounts and you'll be a wealthy person indeed. And here it says security. So, and it's got deposits for the bank of self-care, for energy, for personal power, for love, for space, for time. So I think if I was to get this as my daily card reading, it would tell me that I need to look at the different aspects of my life and see which ones I'm paying attention to and which ones I aren't, so that I could realign and rebalance where I'm spending my energy and spreading my love and the space and time that I have, and how I'm allowing my personal power to be used or drained, whichever may be the case. Again, if we were to do a single card read, I really love these cards for this purpose. If I don't have a lot of time, I find them really great. So take a chance. Every risk is a success when you're committed to learning and growth. So here it's saying risk. So this would tell me that I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to look at ways that I can potentially do something that I'm not really comfortable with, or something I've been putting off, and make sure that, you know, I do take a little bit of risk, that I do look outside the box that I'm in, so that I can actually grow and develop and really achieve something, or enjoy something that I wouldn't necessarily enjoy. So if I was going to use these cards for a 2-card pull, again, I would shuffle them, pull out 2 cards. And here we have, if beating yourself up worked, you'd be thin, rich, and happy. Try loving yourself instead. And this is self, and this one is body, and it says your body deserves your love. Wow, 2 powerful cards, I think, to get together. So this would be telling me that I really needed to look at myself and the way that I interact with my body, and, you know, what kind of messages I'm giving to myself. And they might be messages that I am verbally giving to myself. You know, we often have thoughts in our head about, you know, my thighs are too big, my bum's too big, I don't like my nose, that kind of thing. I'm not thin enough, I'm not flexible enough, I'm not... whatever it is. We often will have things that we think about our body. So I think it's really important, and this brings to mind for me, if I was to get them, that I needed to be mindful of the way that I interact with my body and the thoughts that I have. But it would also be, I need to be mindful of my body and the things that I do to it. So the kind of foods that I'm providing for it, the kind of drinks that I'm drinking, the kind of environment and the energy that I'm allowing to be around my body and have an impact on it. So that's how those cards would read for me personally. You may look at them and it may bring up something completely different. Again, if I was going to do a 2-card reading and I pulled these out, I'd go 1, 2. Today I allow life to be easy. Healing begins with feeling. Be gentle with yourself and tender with your heart. So here we have feelings and here we have ease. So again, this would remind me that we all have feelings. They can be negative and they can be positive, and that we need to be gentle with ourselves. And this one is just, to me, highlighting that, you know, I need to make life as easy as it can be. So I need to deal with my feelings in a way that actually sets me up for success. And if that means that I need to take a moment and cry because I need to release whatever it is that's inside me, that I need to do that so that I can move forward. If I have a feeling of excitement, then I need to act on that instead of holding back. So it's about looking about what's going on in my life and how that may reflect for me. So if I was to use these cards for a 3-card pull, which is something I don't usually do very often, it would be a rare thing that I would use this deck for a 3-card pull, but we could certainly do that. We would have 3 cards, obviously. We would have 1, Oops, there we go. 3 cards. That one wanted to come out on its own. Evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. What if the only resolution you made was to love yourself more? Do you need more time to yourself? A break from thinking too much. A kind encounter with a friend. Your needs matter and it's time to honor them. Okay, so there we go. We have needs, we have intention, and we have growth. So this tells me that I need to look at my life and I need to find a way to be able to take steps so that I'm not staying stagnant, so that I am finding a way to get out of my comfort zone, that I am finding a way for my personal growth to develop and to be able to be honed. So for me, I would be setting an intention around how I would be doing that, and I would be making sure that the intention that I was setting on how I was going to allow myself to grow and evolve throughout the day or the week would definitely be focused on the needs that I have, and it would be focused on the things that I need to be able to offer to myself or provide for myself. So, you know, it talks about here a kind encounter with a friend. So my intention might be that, you know, I would go and spend time with my friend and I would find a way for that interaction to be able to allow us both to grow in the relationship that we have. Because I'm not sure about you, but sometimes we get so busy in our lives that even if we visit a friend and we spend time with them, we just kind of go through the process and things sometimes, and we don't necessarily allow for a layer of growth and development and depth to be given to the relationship that we have. So they're the kind of things that I would be looking at for those 3 cards. But again, if you had those cards for you, you may read them completely differently, and I absolutely believe that that would be the way that they needed to be read. So that is the Self-Care Wisdom cards by Cheryl Richardson. As I said, they are great reminders for me personally, and I hope that if you have the deck too, they would be for you. But they get delivered in such a loving and caring way, which is what I really like about them. Now the next deck I'd like to look at that I use for my self-care, and I have done for quite a number of years, is the Universal Love Healing Oracle cards by Tony Carmine Salerno. These are beautiful cards. They generally have just 1 or 2 words on them. They don't have a lot of information. They do come with a guidebook for anyone that would like to use that. But if I'm just using them because I'm trying to do my daily card read or whatever, I don't use the guidebook. I use the guidebooks when I'm probably doing a more in-depth reading and I'm using more than one deck for a reading, just to be able to give it a different level to the reading that I have. And I don't always use it, but it definitely has a lot of great information. So as a daily card pull, here we have birth. If I receive this card today, I'd be looking at what things am I birthing today. Doesn't necessarily mean giving birth to a person, but it's birthing to ideas, birthing to new ways, new habits, that kind of thing, and looking at how that can influence my day ahead. What do I need to birth? Do I need to look at new ways of doing things? Do I need to find new patterns, new behaviors, new resources to be able to do whatever it is that I need to do? To me, it's all about newness and finding that in my day. If I was pulling another card, here we have Guardian. Obviously you can see the Guardian Angel standing behind her. That would tell me that when things get tough during my day, there's always somebody watching out for me, and that I need to be mindful of that, and I need to understand that. And again, if I was to pull a third card as a single card reading, Celebration, this would be telling me that I needed to be aware of something that needed to be celebrated throughout my day. It might be something that I'm already anticipating, or it might be something that's going to come from left field and I hadn't anticipated. Or it might be that it's a really tough day and I just need to sit and find the celebration within it and be able to provide gratitude for that. That to me is a very powerful thing, is being able to celebrate the small wins, and that's definitely what this card may signify to me. So now if I was going to do a 2-card reading with this deck, obviously you would shuffle it, do whatever it was that you wanted to do with it. I like cutting the cards with my non-dominant hand. And we pull 2 cards. Here we have forgiveness and transmutation. This would be telling me that I might be going through a tricky phase in my life. I might have something that's repeatedly coming up for me and I need to learn to let go. I need to be able to offer forgiveness to the situation and be able to allow it to be transmuted into something beautiful. So forgiveness benefits the person that's doing the forgiving. It doesn't necessarily give a free ride to the person that's created the problem or the situation that's arisen. It's about giving forgiveness so that you can actually benefit and move forward. And this is telling me that I need to give forgiveness and transmutation will take place, and it is a very valuable thing. And by having those 2 cards together, it tells me that I really need to try and truly let go and forgive, because it really needs to be transmuted and get out of my life. Here we have love and the goddess. So if I got this card, depending on what was happening in my day, it might tell me that my day is going to be full of love and I'm going to be appreciated. It might mean that I actually need to love myself and stand up for the goddess that I am. So it may be that I need to find ways to be able to love the goddess within me. Whatever was going on in my life would help me to interpret these cards. And as I've said many times, the first thing that I think of would be the one that I would go with. So if I was going to do this for a 3-card pull, we would have answered prayer, sacred union, and dreams. So if I got these 3 cards as a reading for my day or my week, I would look and I would go that whatever I've been dreaming of, my prayers will be answered. There's a sacred union here. So for me, this signifies that there's a relationship here that's very sacred and very cherished. It doesn't necessarily mean a romantic relationship for me. It just means that it's someone who I appreciate and who really appreciates me for the individuals that we are, and that they will be there and be able to support me in how my prayer is answered. And that's how I read those cards. Now, again, you could read them completely differently, and that's absolutely fine. So I'll just put all these cards back in here because we may get them in the next reading. So I'll just do one more 3-card reading. It's only so you get a feel for how you may be able to read the cards. They're really great for when you don't have a lot of time, because you're not really going in depth into what it is that you're looking for. It's just a springboard for you to move forward. My favorite way to read these cards is as a single card pull and message from afar. Depending on what time of the year it is, depending on what's happening in my life, obviously, these can change for many reasons. But message from afar tells me that I'm going to be connected with somebody that I really care about. I'm going to get an important message, and it's going to come from a distance. And that is something that if I was asking about my day and I was thinking about my family, that would be a great one to get. The next deck I have is the Self-Love Oracle by Janet Shu. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It has a guidebook and 44 cards for healing and self-empowerment. It is a really great guidebook. It's got a lot of information that if you were doing an in-depth reading, you would definitely potentially look at it to get further information. But if I was just using them because I didn't have a lot of time, which is what I tend to use these decks for most of the time, I would just pull a card and take from it the information that I personally intuit and get from it. These have a lot of words on it, so the messages are usually quite easy to understand and easy to work with. Return to center. Chaotic events do not benefit from panicked reactions. The situation may not need a response from you. Stay calm and centered in your heart. So definitely something to remember and think about during your day if that was the card that you had pulled. Play. Reconnect with your inner child. Find a sense of whimsy and wonder in all that you do. Love the corgi there. Beautiful. Know you are worthy. Abundance is everywhere around you. Feel worthy and open yourself up to receive the many gifts that await you. and find balance. Even moderation requires moderation. Swinging from one extreme to another can put you out of balance. Restore your peace from within. So beautiful cards here, guys. Obviously, if you were going to do a 2-card reading, you'd pull 2 cards and try and intuit the messages that they collectively were giving you. So love all. Your compassion is incomplete until it includes yourself. Release self-judgment, self-punishment, self-loathing, self-sabotage. The reflection of your love begins with you. Practice self-care. Serve others, but don't neglect your own needs. You can't give what you don't have already. Replenish your cup. Attend to yourself. So these two are definitely giving you the message that you need to make yourself a priority. You need to practice self-care, and you need to give yourself love like you would anybody else. And one last 2-card reading. So this says, use discernment. There is no need to believe something that does not resonate for you. Personal truths can change as perspectives shift and expand, and pay it forward. Be the answer to someone else's prayer. Helping others can be the quickest way to help ourselves. So this is about making the choices, making sure that you do look towards helping other people and that you pay it forward, but making sure that it resonates with you and you're doing it for the right reasons, and that you're not just doing it because somebody else says you should, or because it's something that you feel obligated to do. My favourite self-care decks to use out of all the ones that I have, I would definitely have to say, would be these ones, the Self-Love Oracle by Janet Shu, and the Self-Care Wisdom cards. If I could only choose 2 out of the 4, they would be the ones that I would choose. But again, it comes down to what appeals to you. Which way do you want to use your cards, and how are you going to incorporate them into the things that you do. So for me, these are my self-care cards. I know that they're the ones that I rely on when I'm feeling down, when I need a lift, when I need to be able to go, okay, where do I need to focus now, because my head just is struggling to find a way forward. These cards really help me to stop, to refocus, and remember that I am important, and that's what I absolutely love about them.